So what's up, everybody? Welcome to another lovely day at Taraji Eco Farm. You can see the weather is quite nice. It's not too sunny. It's not too cold. And today we are going to take you through a farm tour. It's been a while since we did a farm tour. So we're going to take you through the various crops we are growing this season, the new crops that we are trying. We are trying quite a number of new crops this season. So stay tuned in because we'll also give you an update of our poultry. So stay tuned in and remember to interact with us on the comment section. Let us know what you've enjoyed about the farm tour and what crops are you growing this season in your farm, or what are you trying out for the very first time on your farm. So let's get into it. So we start off with one of our raised beds. Now on this bed, we have various things. One of the things we tried to plant last season are the orange flesh sweet potatoes. And these are the orange sweet potatoes that we have. We are yet to harvest them. Yeah, but they look quite healthy. So hopefully we'll get a good harvest. Actually, what happened is I bought uh, the orange sweet potatoes from the supermarket, came and planted them, cut them into, I think, 4 pieces, planted them, and then I was just getting the slips, and that's what I was planting here. And they look quite healthy. Looking forward to harvesting them. So yeah, this bed is full of sweet potatoes, at least up to that end. And then we also have this beautiful pepper. So this pepper, we mostly use it for our chicken. It's quite hot. We mostly use it for our chicken just to boost the immunity. And then we have a few potatoes. These are from a couple of seasons back. And finally, we have two more crops on this bed. This is a purple cauliflower. I bought the seeds from the supermarket. Um, they were actually supposed to. I planted them quite late in the last season, and that's why they are quite big. They were not planted this season, so hopefully we'll get. The leaves look quite healthy. I'm looking forward to seeing how the purple cauliflower looks like and tastes like, because it's the very first time we are having them on the farm. So finally, on this bed, we have mint. Now, there's one thing that we did differently. We removed all the mint from most of our beds. This is the only bed that has mint right now. We are planting them in other areas because they are colonizers. Let me just show you. This mint just runs all around, and you can see these are new mint plants. They've gone even to the extent of this far. So that's the reason why we were removing them from the beds. There are so many. You can see all this. So this is the only remaining mint on the bed, and I'll harvest just a few. Uh, a lot of people in our household like taking mint water. So I'll just get a few for them. Yes, so I'll just pick a few. I'm not sure I harvest them the right way, but this is how we've been harvesting them. So just take 4 bunches we are 4 of us. You can actually use mint in a lot of ways. You can use them to make some drinks. You can use them in water. You can use them to cook. But mostly we use them in our water at the moment. Uh, yeah, so this is what we've got for today. We always have mint throughout. So it's not one of those crops that we struggle to grow. We always have mint throughout the season. Yes, so this is another bed. Just came from the first bed. This is another bed that we have here. And this bed has various crops that you can see. So let's start with the spring onions. So you can see the spring onions doing amazingly well. We have a lot of them, and I'm just going to harvest one batch. So we've mentioned previously that we always leave one spring onion from the batch to continue. Uh, so this remaining one will give us more spring onions. So this is what we've got. A lot of people have also suggested that they harvest the upper part and then leave the rest of the spring onions to grow. You can as well do that. But for us, this is how we do it. So I've gotten a few. I'll get some more from another bed. There's also one big one here. I think spring onions are some of the easiest crops that we've grown here at Taraji Eco Farm, and we always have plenty of them throughout the year. It's one of those crops that we also don't struggle to grow. So apart from spring onions, you can also see we have peas. These are peas on this farm. On this bed, we have peas in 2 beds so far. I intend to add peas to 2 more beds just to make good use of the remaining bits of spaces in between the crops. And the reason why I've staggered the growth is that these are the first ones that we planted, so we'll harvest them together. Then there's another bed that was planted like a couple of days later. And then now it's several weeks later, I'll plant on a different bed uh, like that. So that's how we stagger the growth to make sure we have harvest throughout. So the other crop that we have on this bed, I mentioned we have peppers in almost all of our beds, at least 1 or 2 plants. So on this bed we have this pepper plant and this one, yes. And as mentioned, we mostly use them for our chicken. So I mentioned that one of the crops that we tried is the purple cauliflower. And here we have the second crop that we're trying this season. These are gourds. So you can see how healthy they are. These are 2 plants here. Yes, this is one, and then we have another one here. So we've built the gourds some sort of structure that will direct the plant to. It's not that strong at the moment, but we are still working on it. So this is the temporary structure that they'll be using to climb, and it will support the gourds as they grow. Now, this is the third bed that we have, and it also has various things. And we can start with one of the crops that we are trying out for the very, 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 very first time, and this is popcorn. Uh, Looks very healthy. And what I did as well, I bought some popcorn, raw popcorn from the supermarket, and we made some popcorn in the house, and whatever remained is what I came to plant. So we have this bed with popcorn. I'll also show you the other popcorn where we planted them. Then we also have some lettuce. We have some lettuce here. I should have harvested some, but my hands are not very clean. So I'll come back to harvest some of this. Apart from that, we also have leeks from our previous season. You can see, wow, very healthy leeks. So look at that. So we have leeks from our previous season, which I've just harvested. We have one smaller one here. And then on this part of the bed, we have pepper plants, and then we also have spring onions. So you can see how we mix crops in the various beds just to ensure they get uh, different environment for growth. So they do differently. They actually grow differently in different beds. But yeah, so that's how we do it. And then we also have some purple cabbage from our previous season. I'm not sure why they are growing so slowly, but I've decided uh, to let them be and see whether I'll actually get cabbage from them. The final thing that we have on this bed is actually I forgot to mention we have some small, you can't see them, some small seedlings for spinach. But now the final thing that we have here are these passion fruit plants. Uh, they look quite dry because they came from our last season and February was quite hot. That's why they dried. They're trying to regain their health right now. But these are the passion. I think there are about 3 or 4 passion fruit plants here. So that's it for that bed. So let me just recap what we had on that bed. We have pepper plants, we have spring onions, leeks, some spinach, some purple cabbage, some popcorn, and then finally the passion fruit plants from that bed. Okay, so now we are at the fourth bed, and on this bed we have this amaranth. And this is another variety of amaranth. So we have two varieties of amaranth. And then, like in all our beds, we have this pepper for our chicken. And then we have some spring onions over here and some over there. We have these big leeks. And then we have some cabbage seedlings going on. We do have a few tomato plants that were transplanted. And then we have some carrots over here. Then we have this structure going on here, supporting some passion fruits. Previously, we used to have cucumbers here. So we need to make the structure a bit stronger. These are locally made structures that we try to support the plants on the farm. And then we have this pumpkin that we've directed away from the bed, because also pumpkins are colonizers. So we've directed it away from the bed, so it's running in some of the pathways. And even behind here, we have some small pumpkin plants that we've planted. So now I'll harvest some of this amaranth. You can actually see the difference. If you come closer, you can actually see the difference in the leaf structure between the two plants. These are very different varieties. I had actually harvested, this is what we've harvested from the two plants. These are the amaranth that we've harvested. And this is what we're going to be mixing with some collard greens. Yeah, that's what we're going to be mixing with collard greens. That's how we eat them, because they're by themselves, they're not sufficient to form a meal. So that's why we mix them with the collard greens. Now, the other thing about this amaranth plants, currently we only have these two. We have a lot of seeds, these seeds that are falling right down here. So we have a lot of tiny plants that are coming up, and those ones we are going to transplant to various beds and various parts of the farm, so that we have more amaranth in the farm. So this one has seeds, this one also has seeds that have fallen next to it. Yeah, and some are actually quite big. So we'll be having more amaranth going around. Probably even just on this bed, we'll have like maybe 6 plants or so, and then we can transplant in other areas of the farm. So now we are on our 5th bed, just came from the 4th bed where we've harvested some amaranth. Here we've been harvesting some collard greens from this bed. Collard greens are one of the vegetables that we have a lot on the farm. I think we have about 5 or 6 beds with collard greens. And the reason for this is because we really love collard greens. They're one of the healthiest vegetables. And when we have excess, we also feed them to our rabbits and our chicken. So that's why we have a lot of collard greens on the farm. And they're also easy to grow, very easy to grow. And one of the things that we've actually realized is that uh, during the wet season, the rainy season, we rarely have issues with pests. Our leaves are quite clean. But during the dry season is when we experience a few issues with pests. You can see how healthy these crops are. And these are some of the crops that actually inspired our self-sufficiency journey. Yeah, so I've gotten enough from this bed. I'll pick some more from the other beds. We also have, you remember I mentioned we had some peas on another bed. This bed also has some peas on this row and on this row. And we also have these pepper plants. So you can see how we are growing pepper in almost all the beds for our chicken actually. So on this bed, we also have this eggplant from previous seasons. I see it's almost flowering. It doesn't look very healthy, but we'll add some manure to it. We do have other eggplants that I'm going to show you, but the majority of the crops here is just the collard greens and the peas. Yeah, so we just showed you our 5th bed. Now we have 2 other beds here that you can see collard greens. I'm just going to pick a few. I think at the moment, these are the oldest collard greens that we have on the farm. They could be slightly close to a year or slightly over a year old. You can see how tall the plants are, and they'll continue to grow tall. Yeah, so This kind of collard greens that you grow here actually does not seed as fast as the seeds that we got from the supermarket a while back. So that's why we actually grow this kind of collard greens. And we've shown you before how we usually just, you see, these things coming from the side of the plant, these ones, they're the ones we usually plant on the farm. So when they are big enough, we just pick them and we plant them on a different area of the farm. So just picking a few to add to our harvest. You can see how healthy the crops are. Very healthy, not infested with pests. We don't use any chemicals to grow them. So we can enjoy our food without thinking about what has gone into it. So I think I'm done with harvesting collard greens for today. These are enough. So let's go to the next crop that you've grown for this season. Yeah, so now on this part of the land, we have this sweet banana plant. It's one of the varieties of bananas that we have on the farm. It's never given us our first fruits. I think it's less than a year old on the farm. Then we have these. I think this was white maize, right? I think this was white. Yeah, we planted white maize here. We usually don't plant maize on this part of the farm. A lot of maize that we have is on the other part of the farm. So, but we have just a few maize plants here. Um, then we do have some more pumpkin. We do have some more pumpkin. Actually, it's coming from the bed that I showed you previously. Then just directed outside the bed. So previously on this part of the land, we used to have arrowroots. This is the very first place we planted arrowroots on our farm. Now, what happened in February, because of the prolonged dry period, which has never happened actually before, they all dried. But you can see even after drying, they're still coming up. A lot of them are still coming up, but we'll transplant them to other areas of the farm. So at the moment, that's the only area with arrowroot. You can see these small ones. We have some tiny ones coming up. And then now this area, we planted some groundnuts. Yeah, so groundnuts are one of those crops that we planted for the first time last season. They did very well. We harvested our very first groundnuts on the farm, and that's why we added them here. So for the tiny little arrowroots that are coming up after the dry season, those ones will plant them elsewhere on the farm. Then apart from that, we do have these two avocado trees. I think they're less than 2 years old. I'm not quite sure. Uh, they are the kienyeji avocado trees. We have several trees on the farm, but at the moment, right on this part of the farm, we have two of them. Yeah, so let's proceed to another part of the farm. So we're in another area of the farm, and here we have another bed with spring onions. You can see we have quite some spring onions all over the farm. We have some more here planted directly on the ground. Then we have another avocado tree here and a Hass avocado tree over here. So we have quite some avocado trees. I think in total, there could be more than 10 avocado trees on the farm. So uh, around here we have 4. We have actually 6 in this area. And then we have some more on the upper part of the farm. So you might be wondering why so many avocado trees. One is because we love avocados on the farm. And one thing that we've realized nowadays is that when you go to the local market around here, people rarely sell avocados. Why? Because all of them are taken to the factories. Uh, uh, they're bought and taken to the factories to make oil. So people rarely have ripe avocados nowadays. So part of it is because we love avocados, so we'll have sufficient for ourselves. And because we'll have excess, then we can also sell them. So we can also sell them to other people and make a bit of money. Yes, so we also have some other fruit trees. These are pomegranate plants. We have 3 such trees. So 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think they should have produced fruit because my mom had acquired the same pomegranate at the same time and has already got fruits. So we are trying to tend to these ones so that we get our first fruits. So apart from the pomegranate, we also have some citrus fruits here. I think one of the most difficult crops that you've grown has to be the citrus fruits. You can see like this one had actually dried. Now it's coming up. These are tree tomato. We transplanted it. It actually, I don't know what happened to it, but it's one of the tree tomato trees that we have on the farm. We do have both the red and the yellow variety on the farm. We have, I'll show you the other two trees, but this is one of the three. Then we have a lot of citrus fruits on the farm. We're not quite sure which trees are for oranges or pixies, but they're quite troublesome. I think we have over 10 plants. They're quite troublesome. A lot of them have dried like this one and coming up again. As you can see, like the leaves of this plant, they're black. They've given us a lot of trouble in maintenance. If you have some tips on how to maintain citrus plants, please share them down in the comment section to help us salvage our citrus plants on the farm. So some of the strategies that we have tried on the farm is putting ash on the leaves. I'm not sure it worked. Then we also tried putting tape at the bottom here to deter the ants from climbing the tree. But it's a very temporary solution because the tape eventually wears out. So that's why we are struggling a bit with the citrus plants. Yeah. So we are in another bed. It's actually the smallest bed that we have on the farm, and I think at some point we'll have to expand it a bit. Previously, we had carrots on this bed, but now for this season we planted some sweet potatoes. Then we also have this eggplant that has really flowered. I hope it gives us healthy eggplants. And then we had some basil. I thought the leaves would come back because it dried sometime in February when it was so hot, but it doesn't look like it's gonna come back. Yeah, we had some basil there. So basically, this bed is just for sweet potatoes, and this one eggplant that is quite healthy. Yeah. So now let's go to another bed. We show you some other crops that we are growing for this season. So we're in another bed, and on this bed we have quite some things going on. As usual, our pepper plants. We have two. Actually, we have like four here. We have some at the end there. Then we have these capsicum. This is capsicum, and we have another capsicum here. Uh, we have this some broccoli, and then we also have these leeks. These leeks, I'll harvest them because they are ready. We have some ready leeks, then we have some tiny ones. Then we also have this pumpkin plant that we directed outside the bed. We have some carrots over there. I'll check whether they are ready. I think they could be ready. And then we have some. So initially we had two strawberry plants on this bed, but now we have five. We took some roots from these big strawberries and we planted them in this area. So now we have five strawberry plants over here. And then we have a bit of spring onions as usual. And then we have some tiny beetroots in this area. They cannot be seen, very tiny. So when they grow, we'll show you as the season progresses, we'll show you. So I just want to check whether those carrots are ready. So not a bad size. I don't know how many more we could get. This one is a bit small. So these are carrots that were planted a bit late in the last season. I don't think the rest are ready. I don't think the rest are ready. But I don't know why this season I actually struggled to grow carrots. They didn't get to the size that I wanted. I also changed the seeds. So I've been suspecting it could be the seeds that caused that. But we planted quite some carrots this season, different seeds. We'll see how they do. But last season our carrots didn't actually do very, very well. So here we have this tomato that I mentioned. This is the yellow one, the yellow variety. Then down here, we have some small carrots coming up, the ones I just talked about. So we are hoping they'll do well. Previously, we had sacks over this area, so we were not growing anything on the ground. Yeah, so we're hoping the carrots will do well. They're quite tiny, and as they continue to grow, we'll need to thin them a bit. Then we see how they're going to do. So here we have some pineapples that we've grown. We're wondering why they've not crowned yet. Is it called crowning? We're wondering why they've not crowned yet. But we have some pineapples here. We have another exact area with more pineapples, but these ones are the older ones. Then we have these potatoes going on here, and then we also have some other sections with potatoes. And we also have another fruit tree. This is a loquat that is here. I suppose we have close to 5 loquat trees on the farm. And then we have this plum tree over here. This is a plum tree. Hoping it gives us our first fruits. It's once fruited, one fruit, and that's why we need a plum. So hopefully it gives us some fruits soon. Uh, Here we have some more popcorn. We talked about popcorn. We are growing popcorn for the very first time on the farm. And next to the popcorn, we have this pear tree. It once dried, and then now it's coming back to. It looks very healthy. So hopefully at some point we'll get some pears on the farm. So that's it from here. We are going to another section of the farm. Yes. So here we have another bed. On this bed, mostly there are seedlings going on. So they are quite tiny because we have bulb onion seedlings, we have some tomatoes, we have some eggplant seedlings going on, and also some capsicum. But we have some big plants that you can see. We have some different variety of collard greens, not the kienyeji one. We'll see how it does. It's the only different variety that we have on the farm. We have some carrots from our last season. I don't think they are ready. And then on this end, we have this gooseberries plant that will allow to grow. And then we've transplanted some cabbages on this area. So they are quite tiny. Yeah. So mostly on this bed, it's just a lot of seedlings going on. And so once they are ready to transplant, we'll be able to transplant them to this bed and to other beds. So we also have another crop on this bed. We have some cucumbers at the edges, and we'll get some support. We can even support them with these other avocado trees that are here. So probably direct them there and see how they do. So the other crop that we've grown extensively this season is the groundnut. As you mentioned, they did very well. So we have them here, we have them down there where I showed you, and we have them in other parts of this small sections of this farm. So this area, all of these are groundnuts. Up to down there, we have groundnuts. So over here we have a very small bed with arrowroots. First time planting them here, we transplanted them from the area that we told you had dried out. So planted a few of them here, and we'll keep transplanting to other areas of the farm. And then apart from the arrowroots, we have the green bananas that you've been seeing us harvesting over time. We have these two beautiful variety of ripening bananas that we got from Moranga. Very first time planting them and looking forward to actually harvesting this variety of bananas. Yeah, so we have other varieties of green bananas over here. So just I think 3 different varieties of green bananas. These ones we've never harvested them before. Looking forward to harvesting this. We were told it's a humongous bunch. So we're looking forward to that. Now over here we have, so remember we mentioned that previously we used to use sacks to do some vertical gardening for our collard greens. But now we transitioned to pipes. And you can see they're doing amazingly well. Sorry, we transitioned to jerry cans, and now they're doing amazingly well. One of the pipes is for water, and the other one is for any kitchen waste that you'd want to put there. And then these two right here that you can see without the pipes, these are for the kids. They asked to have similar gardens to this yesterday. So they did some work and they planted their own collard greens. It's quite interesting for them actually. And then we also have now this beautiful bed with collard greens. As you can see, we have a lot of collard greens and we mentioned the reasons why. Yeah. So this is the last raised bed that we have on the farm, and we have some more sweet potatoes going on, a few potatoes. We have some collard greens and some spring onions. So mix and matching, mix a lot of crops on the beds. So that's what we have on this bed. These sweet potatoes, I think, could be ready in the next like 2 to 2.5 months. So let's now go to the plantain that we planted on the farm. So uh, the same time that we planted the variety of the ripening banana variety, we also planted some 2 plantains. And I think of all the banana varieties, these are, I think, the hardest to grow. It took a while for them to actually, for us to see the first leaves for this plantain, but now they seem to have, I think the rainy season has really helped. Probably they did a lot of water or something. There's just something about them that is so different from all the sweet banana, the green bananas, and the ripening varieties that we have on the farm. These ones take their time, but we are quite happy to see the progress on the 2 plantain and looking forward to harvesting them actually. Yeah, yes. So now we are in a different section of the farm, and you can see we have a lot of sugarcane. So with me, I have the purple sugarcane variety, just bought from a vendor in a local market. I want to try this purple variety. Uh, so I'm aware that some purple varieties actually eventually turn to yellow, but I'm curious to see whether this one will actually do that. So we'll be planting this sugarcane somewhere on this land. And then apart now from the sugarcane, we have some mango fruits. And let me just, so we have, I think 4 mango trees here, not well spaced. One of them is we bought the seedling. The others, we threw some seeds on the farm and they actually grew. So the reason we are not cutting them down yet is because we want to taste the mangoes first. So whatever mangoes will be sweetest, probably will retain like 2 or 3 trees. Maybe one of these will go. Then we have this avocado tree. We are thinking of getting rid of it. It's also a seed that has grown by itself. So this one we are going to get rid of it from here. So we have an apple plant here that is very interesting. I don't think we figured out how to take care of apple plants yet, but we have this tiny fruit that has been this size for quite a while. We had some flowers that actually we saw on this plant, but not sure why we didn't get any fruits. We do have two. We have 2 apple trees. We intend to add some more. Especially want to try the Wambugu variety to see how well it does here. So we'll do that sometime this year. So we have 2 apple varieties on the 2 plants currently. We had more, but let me tell you what happened. We bought seedlings for apples, came with them to the farm, and then I don't know what happened because they eventually became logo trees. so so currently we only have 2 apple trees. Yes. So we have some more citrus plants that have been bothering us. We have some more. We have 3 on this area. Then this is our red variety of tree tomato. Very tasty. We really like it. And then over here, we started another plum tree. So we just cut the stem of the plum tree that we have. We are starting another one here. We intend to add some pawpaws, some apples. We intend to add some more fruit trees in this area. So yeah, we're also looking forward to harvesting our very first mangoes. The trees have been here for a while, so hopefully they can produce some fruits soon.
Yeah, welcome to the poultry part. We're finally here. Currently, we have different types of poultry on the farm. That's we have chicken, we have turkeys, we have ducks, and I don't know how to classify doves. I'm not even sure whether these are doves or pigeons. I can't differentiate the two. But yeah, we have those different types of poultry. We don't have a lot of chicken on the farm now because we consumed a lot of chicken. We try as much as possible not to buy red meat from the shop, so we consume our chicken as much as possible. But we have started building the numbers now. Uh, we have like 4 small chicks, maybe a month old, and they're going to hatch more during the year, so that we take our population again to about maybe 50 or 60. That'll be a good number to maintain on the farm. So yeah, we have poultry on the farm. We have you can see the chicken we have. So yeah, we currently have a breeding stock, 24 chicken, and we have 2 cockerels on the farm. So we are just starting to rebuild now. Maybe in the next 2-3 months, we'll get back to a normal population of about 50, 60 birds. But yeah, chicken is our favorite meat on the farm, and we try to let them roam outside as much as possible, and then we feed them when they come back in the evening. So that's the chicken. Um, Let me show you the doves or the pigeons. Please correct us. Yeah, here we have I think they're doves. We have our doves here. We we recently had 1 or 2 eggs, and it hatched, and they've actually grown. Let me try and see if I can catch and show you the 2 that are grown. They're the smallest here. But these things reproduce very fast, and we have no idea what to do with them. Maybe at some point we'll begin maybe sharing with our subscribers, those who engage with us mostly, those who share our videos, those who comment mostly. And every time we have a mature couple, we can send to one of those people who are very engaging on our YouTube channel. That's what because we don't eat those things. We don't. There are no people who buy the doves around here, so that's something that we're thinking of. We're going to do in future. But let me try and show you the young ones. Hopefully, I can catch them. Maybe not, but this is. You can see this is one of them, and there's a dark one. Sorry, and there's a dark one, and this one. Those are the 2 of them. So what we need to do next is, I feel that this dove, let me call it what, I don't know what it's called, but their house has become smaller for them. I think this will be bigger than this, so they can fly around. So we'll probably construct a larger house for them. And also, I don't know about the inbreeding, but I'm not comfortable letting them couple up, the young ones that are born. So I'm going to exchange one of them, either the male or female, with somebody else who is keeping doves from around here, so that we don't have a lot of inbreeding. So that's about the doves here, and they multiply very fast. This is a section for rabbits. We had given so many of them, and we were left with about there were 1, 2, there are actually 4. But now, a couple of weeks ago, we got some more young ones, and you can see inside here they're still eating, but there are 5 of them, young ones. And we have one that I believe is pregnant, and maybe the next couple of weeks we'll get young ones. Let me just try, if I can catch it, I'll show it to you. Yeah, you can see how big it is, and now you're able to tell that it's pregnant. I'm not sure I can do this, but yeah, if you touch here, you can see it's what are they called? Is it
Mammary glands.
Yeah, mammary glands. They're already starting showing here. So I believe in the next couple of weeks we'll get young ones. But you can see just from feeding on the weeds that we get from a farm, how big they actually grow. It's quite big. At this point, we also have our male on the farm with one of the mother from the mother of those ones, and we keep them for a couple of weeks before we separate them, so that again, maybe in a month or so, it's going to give birth again. And this is just for us to continue our rabbit project around where we stay in the neighborhood. We give to the small kids to actually make them busy. So after school, they have something to do, looking after the rabbits. Yeah, so here we also have some, told you we are trying to rebuild again our chicken population, and we have some young ones. This is, I think, a month old. This is a month old, and you can see it's doing pretty well. This is the first time I'm touching it. It's quite uncomfortable, but you can see this is a month old, and these are pure, we call them pure Kenyaji chicken. Yeah, the weather has been, it's been raining a lot, so that's why you can see I'm not letting them out now, because I think that they get sick when they step on the wet mud and all that, and it sticks to their toes. And they, as young as they are, I'm not letting them out for now because I don't want them to be sick. We really want to build a population, and we need every chick that we can have. So let me just put them back to be with the mother. Yeah, so inside here again we have turkeys. We have small ones, a couple of months old now, I think, 3 or 4 months. And then we have the mother of all turkeys in this homestead. We don't want it to hatch again this half of the year until the other half, because it's really been producing a lot, and we want to give it time to recover properly. So we've let it stay with the young ones. They're called poults, I think, for as long as possible until they're able to be on their own. So these are the ones you can see now. We actually have more turkeys on the farm. There's one male that is on the lower part, and we have 3 others that we've lent out to someone so they can stay in the homestead for a while, then they're going to be brought back. We have actually 4. We have 3 males and 1 female. We have 4 ducks on the farm. It's been a while since we had either duck eggs or we actually got young ducks on the farm. We had eaten our ducks until they remained 3 females. We looked for a male, which is here, but the male was smaller than the females were there, so they kept on beating it and fighting with it. We had to isolate it for a while. We've tried to bring it back, but the females are not accepting it, so we are going to look for another stronger male to mate with the ducks that we have. But yeah, we have 4 ducks here. We have 1 male and 3 females. So that's it for the tour of our homestead, the farm tour for our homestead. Of course, we have another section of the farm that is a few meters from here that we're going to show you later on. But that's it for this section of the farm. We've shown you what you have in terms of crops, the new things we've tried on, the project now to increase the number of poultry on the farm again. We're all excited, and you're going to carry along with us. Yeah, thank you very much. We actually go to 7,000 subscribers. Maybe now we aim for higher now. We get to 10,000 or 100,000. But thank you for the support so far. We really appreciate you in every way that you engage with us. And also ask you to continue engaging on our comment section. You share our videos. You also tell us if you're practicing this self-sufficiency, how it's going for you. You share ideas with us. You're also going to share with you so we can all grow self-sufficiency for our families.